Welcome back to Let's Talk Forex. I'm Alison, and as always, I'm here with my co-host Chris. And today we're going to be diving into a topic that's crucial for traders of all experience levels, whether you're an experienced trader or a beginner, and that's the psychology of holding trades. Hey Chris, how's it going?
Hey, Alison. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I'm in South Africa.
I know. How's it going?
Yeah, it's nice. Windy.
Ah.
Windy down here. I'm in Gordon's Bay. We've had a couple of days without wind, but yesterday was really howling a gale. But no, it's lovely. It's lovely to be here. It's warm. It's sunny. I've been drinking fine wines. I've been swimming in the ocean. I've been just having a very good time. Not sunburnt yet, importantly, yet. That may change. But I've been pretty good. It's a nice country you got here, Alison.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And Gordon's Bay is particularly beautiful. The mountain and the little cove, it's very pretty, hey?
It is. It's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, driving up around through the mountains yesterday and along the coast. It's spectacular scenery.
Oh, good.
So very happy to be here. How are you getting on?
Yeah, good. Happy to be here too, I guess. Lovely. Yeah, we've also had great weather, been swimming, going to the beach. I must say, I can't complain. Absolutely amazing here.
So I imagine the water's a bit warmer over there than it is here.
Yeah, I think it is. And we've also got this beautiful lagoon that we swim in, often with the boys, with my kids. Yeah, so they love it.
Now, the water here is colder than Portugal.
Oh, really?
It's really cold. Yeah, it's probably 14 or 15 degrees this morning. Yeah, really chilly.
What is it in Portugal?
It's about 16 or 17. So, not a huge difference, but enough that you can feel it. You have to, there's a sharp intake of breath when you get in the water here.
So as I mentioned earlier, we're going to sort of be talking about the psychology of holding trades and the maths behind the trading strategy and how to identify what market conditions suit what sort of trading strategy and whether it suits holding your trades or not. So I don't know if you want to kick us off with the maths behind it.
Yeah, let's start with the math before we get into the psychology side of things. See, the math of trading psychology, I mean, I know a lot of people don't like to think about math, but it's really the backbone of your trading strategy. It's going to be the backbone of everything you do in trading. It's not just about picking the right trades. It's about understanding how those trades fit into the bigger picture. It's really important. So for example, I mean, we talk about this a lot, like the risk reward ratio. So if you have a risk reward ratio of one to one, you do need a win rate of at least 60 or 70% just to break even. And to be honest, most strategies do not consistently deliver that kind of win rate here. And unless you're adding to a losing position, of course, which is a very dangerous game.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And many traders overlook this. They focus so much on finding the perfect entry or the perfect setup, but they don't really think about what happens after they're in the trade. And, if we're not adding to losers, I guess a lot of traders are wondering, how do you make it work? What's the alternative?
Well, the alternative, of course, is to let your winners run, If you can hold on to those winning trades and let them go for a risk-reward ratio of 1 to 2 or 1 to 3, then you don't need a high win rate at all. Even with a very modest win rate of, let's say, something like 40%, you're still going to be profitable if those winners are big enough. And it's interesting. This is how a lot of hedge funds and a lot of institutional traders, they operate, with these trend following models. They might have, upwards of 70, 80% losing rate here. But when 20% of those winners are just so big, then it more than makes up for it.
Yeah, I think that's a really important insight. But I think it's one of the biggest challenges that most traders face. And it's knowing which ones to hold and which ones to cut early. I know I've struggled with this, throughout my trading career. I'll see the profit ticking up and then I just want to take that profit, but it's obviously, it leads to a lot of frustration. How do you deal with that, Chris?
Yeah, and this is where we get into the psychology of it. So it's all about, people will be shocked to hear, it's all about having a plan and sticking to it. You need to decide up front whether a trade is just an A to B trade, whether you're just looking to capture a quick move from one level to another. So, or if you're what we were just talking about, if you're on a runner, where you're aiming for a much larger move. So if it's just one of those small moves, something A to B, then you take your profit at your target and you move on. But if you think it's going to be a runner, you've got to have that discipline to hold on to it. That's really important, even when the market starts to wobble. And this is where the psychology of it comes in.
Absolutely. And I found it's very much about the context. So, as you were saying, if you're trading a range bound strategy between support and resistance, as you said, it's probably an A to B trade. You're not expecting a massive breakout. You're just looking for a mean reversion. But if you're trading a strong trend, like after a major news event or some other catalyst in the market, that's where you might have a runner. And in this case, you may want to increase your risk-reward ratio scale into the trade and allow it to run. And it's basically about the market environment and your trade setup and what you see happening in the market. So it's very much about reading the market.
It is, and that's a really great point. But even if you plan on to hold, plan that you're going to hold on to a runner, if you think this is going to be a good trade that you're going to hold on to, the psychology of it is really tough. I know, we were talking about, the psychological struggle, but there's also that urge to take profits too soon, when you've got a runner. And how do you deal with that, Alison?
Yeah, I guess that's where self-talk and mental rehearsal come in. So, if you've rehearsed beforehand that if this is a runner, I'm going to let it run, I think that's the best way to sort of manage the psychology behind it. And then when you're in a trade, and the urge to take profit hits, then you remind yourself of your trading plan, as you said earlier. You've got to practice that mental discipline, and it's not easy. And I think it's probably the main reason a lot of traders fail. If you read Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas, he talks about that as well. Just how it absolutely destroys traders. It's the main reason that traders don't succeed.
No, it's true. It is. You got to stick to that plan. And that's a really great tip. About sticking to the plan. You got to remind yourself that self-talk, that mental rehearsal, really important. But what about any tools or techniques, like, setting alerts or walking away from the screen? Is there anything like that you would recommend?
Yeah, I definitely recommend walking away from the screen. I know if I'm sitting there watching every tick, I start to get itchy and want to close the trades. So sometimes you just want to walk away from the screen. You want to set your stop on your target and you just want to let the trades, what happens happen. And, as you said, you can also use timers. So you can give yourself 15 minutes or an hour before you check the trade again. And I guess that way you're not tempted to meddle with the trade.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. I should really use timers more often. What about scaling out of positions, like taking partial profits and letting the rest run?
Yeah, I really like that as well. I know it's something we've spoken about many times before, Chris, but, especially if you're getting comfortable with holding trades, you could sort of say close or say take 50% off your initial target and then let the rest ride. And this way you've taken some profit or you've broken even, but you're still giving the trade time to run without feeling that you've got too much on the line. And it's a good way to ease into runners until you feel like that you're more comfortable with them and that you've got that mental discipline to allow them to run.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. It's like it's a really handy middle ground. But I know a lot of people listening to this are going to be saying, okay, but what about the worst case scenario here? What if you hold a trade and then it reverses all the way back to your stop?
Yeah, that's part of trading. And you've got to learn to accept losers. I think the best traders are the ones that can accept losers, that they don't sort of, mull over it for hours and hours and hours and allow it to destroy their confidence. You've got to, if you've planned your trade properly, you've set a reasonable stop loss, you've got a good risk reward ratio, you just have to focus on the process and not the outcome. Over time, as you said earlier, at the beginning of this episode, the maths definitely will work in your favor. If you set the right risk reward ratios and if you look at the market conditions and then, read the market.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a really important mindset shift, paradigm shift for a lot of traders, especially when you're a beginner and you're beginning to be successful and making that shift to, if you're going to turn this into your career, you're going to make this a long-term project, a long-term part of your life. Making sure that you can make that shift in mindset. I think a lot of traders get too focused on profit and loss and they don't focus enough on the process. It's like you said earlier, Alison, it's all about building that mental muscle. It's about that mental discipline.
Yeah. And every time you hold a trade and it works out in your favor, you build confidence. And every time you hold a trade and it doesn't work out in your favor, you build resilience. So you can view it as a win-win,
Even when you're losing, it's a win-win.
Even when you're losing. Yeah. It's all about practice and as we said earlier, building your mental discipline.
Yeah. No, it's all part of the journey, isn't it? It's all part of the trading journey. And I think that's a great way to wrap it up, Alison. So thanks for tuning in, as always. And if you found this episode helpful, don't forget to subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, then give it a like as well. And leave us a review. And we'll talk to you in the comments if you've got any questions. So until next time, speak to you soon, Alison.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks so much, Chris.